Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, or good night. This your girl Chick, aka Gypsy's daughter, aka the beautiful underdog. You are now tapped in with the Dean again. Good news, good news. We are now on Spotify, posted and published every Tuesday. But you know that you can find us on most platforms for those of you who want to see the vibe. You can hit the vibe. You can listen in all day. You can just pop in, listen in, whatever, turn it on while you cleaning up, doing dishes, doing laundry, driving somewhere. But when you want to look at me like you want to see the frequency, I know you want to see what's going on. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Last week I did a little quick how to navigate sit downs with the deans in 15 minutes because I did not know that Instagram will only post 15 minutes of any video. And I need to write a letter and I need you guys all to help me with it because I'm trying to figure out what happened to Instagram TV, or was it IGTV, when they could take longer videos and it was almost kind of like YouTube, but Instagram. Here now, coming in at week 6, poetic snaps for the consistency. I have a quick disclaimer though. Y'all already know, if you've been watching me, you know this is a personal vibe for me. This is just something I wanted to do for me. I like to yap. I like to get some things off my chest. I also like creativity. So quick disclaimer, every class has a different level of understanding. So I totally understand if what I produce here, what you hear me say, for those who can see me, what you see out of pure creativity, curiosity, entertainment, or pure genius is not aligned with you. That's okay, okay? We still gonna be virtual cousins. I'll be your bald-headed virtual cousin. That's fine. That's cool. Last week we talked a bit about how to navigate sit downs with the dean in 15 minutes because that's all Instagram give you. So this week I want to get back on our track where we were talking about character development. Okay? Because if you're following the trail, if you're following the path, if you listening in, we talked about how change is real and the feeling of imposter syndrome after transformation because you're now at a level that you've never been before. So now this week I want to talk about character development. Character development to me could mean I always like to ask y'all what y'all think. With that picture, with that put y'all in the mind of first. I always want to ask y'all first. But to get right into it, it could mean anything. It could mean, what did it take to get there? Like if we just stand on trend. If we just stand on brand. Character development. After the transformation, after the glow up. Or could we be talking about what it took, what type of person you had to be, what type of character you had to build to obtain and be the person you are today. So let's look up character development. Character development by Google Dictionary, Google definition, is the process. The first one says the process of creating and growing a fictional character's personality and experiences throughout a story. Now, I like this one better, a little bit better. It says a person in a narrative and the individual qualities of a person. Okay? The process of changing and growing a character throughout a story. Okay? So that's just giving us a guideline. Because I didn't write a lot today. If you notice, I didn't come with my cards today. I haven't had cards, actually. I've been writing kind of like a little mini script. Because I'm just practicing. I'm just, this is a personal project for me. What does it mean to you? Character development. How has your character developed over time? Who are you today that you weren't yesterday? What piece is the development piece for you? After that glow up. Or feeling a little bit better about yourself in general. So it might not be a glow up to somebody else. It might just be a glow up to you. And that's the development piece. Things that have changed over time that make you feel like, I done glowed up. Baby girl done glowed up on my Gucci shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like, what is that for you? It could be anything. What has changed in your story over time? I'm not a professional. I'm a professional of sorts. I have a professional title outside of what I do creatively. But I'm not a professional to tell you what you should be doing or what you shouldn't be doing. But let me tell you this. When I think of character development, I think about like what it takes to do what it is I'm trying to do, get to where I'm trying to be. Even after you get to where you're trying to be, if you still make it on the wake up list, and like I don't feel like there's an end. That's just what I personally think. So when you say like development, there's still maintenance to it. I don't want to get off topic, but I'm just saying the development that it takes to get to one place to another. What builds character for you? What is something that has built your character is what I'm trying to say. And I'm not talking about a fictional character, although if you have an alter ego and that person has to pop out or pop in to push you through, what characteristics do that person have? What type of, how do people perceive that person? Whatever that personality, whatever that character is, right? I'm gonna give y'all an example to give a visual of what I'm trying to say, because sometimes my words get all gibberish and they sound better in my head, honestly. Let's just be for real. But the Dean as a character. So my name is Charmaine. My name is Charmaine Elena, like Mary Ann, okay? So I'm Charmaine Elena, Charmaine spelled with a J. The J sounds like the H in jalapeno. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, so there's only one me. And I have always had this, like, AKA Gypsy's daughter, AKA the beautiful underdog. I have always had, like, these little people, these little, these little minions of mine. And I'm not talking on no crazy shit. I'm not on my Nikki Roman. I'm not doing that. When building me with personal development, with who I am as a person, with the moral standards, it's certain things that Charmaine and Lena, you would never catch her doing. Not in public. And that don't make me fake, fraudulent, or anything like that. I don't think that makes me flimsy of any kind just to have something that pushed me through something else. So let me give you an example. The Dean. She's actually, this is new. This is actually very new. This is only about 2 years new. And when I say 2 years new, I actually took on a career change. And that's what made the Dean who she is today. I realized that I had to change my perspective if I wanted to grow. My perspective at the time, I'll tell you. I'll just be transparent and I'll just tell you. So at the time, I was actually in between jobs. But my career has always been established in the medical field. Just being for real, I'm a science girl. I love science. I tell y'all all the time, yes, I love creativity. Yes, I love coloring. Yes, I love hair. Yes, I love lashes, love makeup, love cute, and like I'm into that. But that's because of what a lot of my programming. I want to keep y'all engaged on the topic. So I'm gonna use words like programming. A part of my programming has always been glam. All the way down to my grandmothers, my mother's mothers, my mother's sisters, my mother is the only child, but you know what I'm saying? Everybody around me, it's always been, make sure you look good. So I'm always going to look good, period. I'm like the sexy scientist, period. But that's another one of my personalities. But the Dean came 3 years ago. And when I say popped off, like I said, I was changing careers, which is crazy because I've been doing the same thing in the medical field for about 10 years. So out of those 10, 3 of them, I was actually in transition. I was transitioning in the line of teaching. Now, I kept saying teaching ain't doing, like, no, teaching. And people have a purpose, people have a calling, and I believe, I'm going to just say I believe, my beliefs are sometimes if you call for something greater and you keep getting up on that wake up list, you might want to tap into like what you might be supposed to be doing. Now, sometimes, especially with the way our world is turning right now, I think you might want to listen to like, be obedient as to what you're being guided to. And I will just be honest, my lifestyle showed me it ain't about what you want to do, boo. Because obviously it's been this long and you ain't did too much of what you really truly desire. And that was just a conversation between me and my God. Like, well, why isn't this happening? How do you keep waking me up? Why do you keep doing that? And it's literally like I said, I'm being transparent. This is my personal, this is me. So for those of y'all taking notes in the back, that's why I'm going to tell you who the dean is and why she became who she is today and why I'm so delusional about her. Like, she's like my newest baby. She's like my newest child because I learned so much in the line of teaching. I started with children with developmental disabilities. I actually, in the medical field, while I was still studying medicine and caregiving in that aspect, more of a hands-on direct care provider, I'll let you know I started with developmental disabilities. And that taught me a lot regarding how in that chapter where the term, my disclaimer, came across as every class has a different level of understanding. And I love a little double entendre because I do like to show that beauty and brains can exist in one body. I do like to show that. I ain't gonna lie. That's my biggest flex. My biggest flex is I'm sexy, healthy, and wealthy, but I'm somewhere near somebody's information, somebody's knowledge. I will pay for it because knowledge is the only thing they can't take from us. So with that being said, that's where that came from. I learned how people learn. And I then seen how other people learned because just because of developmental disability does not mean that you cannot obtain the information. So that was like mind blowing to me. Like, oh my God, look at this. And I'm talking to y'all. Look at this person using pictures instead of words. Look at this person using a song as a way to convey a memory. Like, do you remember that time? But instead of saying, do you remember that time? Because they may not be able to hold that whole conversation. They might be nonverbal completely. Using photos, the photos we take on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, using these photos as a way to remember it's dinner time. You know what I mean? What time of the day is it? Right now it's morning. I'm actually recording and I'm producing and I'm here because I got told you I'm delusional with it. But I'm working while my son is in school. I work from home. That's the vibe that I'm conveying to you. You see what I'm saying? So I learned how people learn, and then if I'm being all the way honest, I always have a pull in the tub between following what I truly desire. I have many passions. And I told y'all with that last week. I have many passions. Everything I touch turn to gold. And I have one side of my family when we think about development and programming and learning and teaching. One side of my family was so free-spirited. They're like, whatever you do, whatever it makes you happy, just do it. Don't stop. I got one part of my family that is just like that. They don't give a damn what I do. As long as I'm happy, fuck it. Yeah. Do that shit. Make sure you smile. You know what I'm saying? Send me pictures because it's memories. It's something that you could keep forever, right? But then there's another side of my family and everybody didn't graduate. Everybody didn't graduate. Everybody is somebody, okay? Mind you, if you think I'm just saying, because you know me, I love to think back to like where I came from and my ancestry too. Because sometimes the immediate family, by the time they pass the baton, they gave all their energy to you. So it's like, look, I hope you got it after this. Just being for real. And I'm saying that now that I'm a parent. And I'm thinking about like, okay, baby, we only a couple hours into 29, but we are 29 years in, honey. And you are a parent now. So now when you scratch your head, he scratching his head too, because he don't know if you don't know. And then we can't go if you can't go. And all of those type of things. I also think about how, and I'm the offspring. So maybe they might not agree. They might see something different, but I see that if I just go back as far back as my grandmother on both sides, I'll say both of my parents were taught similar morals, similar things in life, similar paths. They have some similar understanding on certain things. And they both did something different with it because every class has a different level of understanding. And that's the truth. Class as in level of understanding, as well as class as in what you can do, how you can provide. I'll just say it like that. So yes, I mean that in both ways. However you receive it though, that's on you. And so with that being said, when I came out with the dean, with the name, with the title, with the, it's kind of like teachy. It's kind of like, I've actually had friends, old friends. They're no longer my friends for saying things just like this. But I'll quote, one of my old friends told me, I think it was a mutual of my old friend. And that's the thing. Like, my old friend let that friend who don't even know me say. But it was something like, every time you talk, you sound like you preaching. Which I did grow up in a very religious household on both sides. Both had the same storyline, but a different indoctrine. Is that the word? Both dominions were different, but the same storyline, same belief. You know what I mean? So maybe that's, maybe that's hereditary. Y'all know I had to check that word. So the word is doctrine, which is a statement of belief. So their doctrines were different. To indoctrinate is to give you beliefs. It's to give you what I believe and put that on you. And so, yeah, I just wanted to check that word because, motherfuckers try to say that I don't know no better, but I'm not a very religious person. So I'll say that as well. But I have beliefs that I took from both sides. And with that being said, I've always been pulled and tugged. And it's always been like, should I do a corporate job and be this corporate girl? And I could be a corporate baddie. You know what I'm talking about? I could really be a boss. You know what I'm talking about? You want to bust up your life? Yes, I do. but I could also I feel like I'm equipped with the knowledge and the level of understanding. I really do feel like, God will be blessing me if I can make a living off of my lifestyle surrounding my God-given gifts. Because like I said, 2 to 3 years ago, when I was creating the character, the Dean, I was angry. I was coming out of a heal. Like I'm still healing is an everyday process, but I was at a different level of my healing process. So I was accepting, but I was still kind of like triggered by things. And one of the things being, I'm a very creative person and I've always been very expressive, but I've seen people copy my things that I say, things that I do, the career interests, all the way down to the career. I never thought you was into hair. I never seen you I never seen you kicking with your own kids. So how you gonna work with a stranger's kids? You know what I mean? Things like that. But then I realized people learn differently. So creating this character of the Dean, I said, yeah. People pick on me for being a person who's like, I like science, and I like fashion, and I like fashion, and I can't even afford to dress how I really want to dress. You know what I mean? The shoes, I love me a nice kitten heel with a strap back, but them boys is expensive, especially for this heavy little weight that I got on me still. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just being transparent with y'all. This is my space, so I can tell y'all, listen to me. I felt like people were coming around me because I remember being isolated in the beginning stages of my healing process. And one day we'll talk about what I was healing from, a lot of different things. Some of the things being my early on programming. Some of the things being the way that I take in information. Some of the things being the information that some of the ways that I regenerate that information back to my own seed. I was like, I don't like that response because he don't even like that response. The way he responded, I don't like the response he giving me off what I've learned and how the only way I know to respond to whatever this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? When it comes to me and my own child. So I had to regroup some of that too. And it's still an everyday process. But when I created the Dean, I don't want to say, I'll take that back when I say I was angry. I wasn't angry, but it was a lot of things that were still a trigger to me. And I had to iron that out, especially if I wanted to grow. Because like I said in the beginning, to me, character development is not just a fake character. It's not just creating a persona. To me, it's how people perceive you. Sometimes it can be, but also if you know yourself, knowing that you're coming from somewhere and you want to go somewhere else. I truly believe that certain character traits have to be built. Certain characteristics have to be built within you to accomplish that goal, to be that person, to obtain that lifestyle. And I just really believe that. Like, and it's crazy because, like I said, first I would think it would start with like, where do you want to be? So some of us bloom later than others. So every class has a different level of understanding, but that don't mean you ain't gonna move to the next class. It just takes time to see, like, okay, do I want to be a corporate baddie, or do I want to be a more grounded individual? You can be both. I really do believe that you could be both. But I'm saying, do I want to be a more grounded individual with moral standards and working on my own terms and understanding at my own pace? What type of person do you want to be? What type of person do you want to be viewed as? And what are you taking the time to dive in and see what that would entail? So, you know, somebody I look up to, and I really don't care what nobody's opinion is. I like Oprah, y'all. I like Oprah ever since I was a little girl. And then I looked into philanthropy. And so I didn't know what that meant to be a philanthropist. I didn't know what that meant to be a humanitarianism. What? You know what I mean? But I start studying that, and I said, damn, that's crazy how the way my life was going at the time, as to why I needed healing in the first place, or why I actively started taking the steps to heal, because I wanted to be better, show up as my best self, show up as a more grounded individual with a higher moral standard. I start surrounding myself with these people. I also start taking a look at, like I said in the beginning, I started somewhere and I know where I wanted to end up, or I know where I would like to be, how closer I would like to be by the time I pass the baton to my own seed. My son was right by my side the whole time I was homeless. You see what I'm saying? I think about shit like that, y'all. I think about what it took to get over that. It took a lot of sitting down and being by yourself. I stayed with people at first. And technically, in the state of Ohio, you are not homeless if you have somewhere to lay your head. I did not know that. I learned about the grants that got your name on it. I did not know nothing about that. I learned the system that I was in. And that built a lot of character, because look at me right now. Girl, please don't let me go back. I pray about it every day. Please don't let me have to. And I mean, it's the learning. I felt like my whole experience was a lesson in itself. And that's why I say, that's when I learned. I ain't gonna lie. It was in that moment that I learned that it ain't even about the monetary gains, nothing that you have won, nothing. Yes, I like to look good. Okay, I like that. I love that. You looking, ain't you? I love that. But don't get it twisted. When I was sitting in there, it took me to humble myself, because I ran out of money to give to stay with people. And it took me to humble myself, and that built character, and that was a lesson in itself, because I didn't even know that when I went down there, they had a bed for me and my son, and we was able to stay in a room by ourselves. So then I got over that. And then I went down there and we stayed in the room by ourselves. And it taught me too, when I got down there, it taught me that a lot of these people ain't helpless. They homeless. They're without a place to stay. But some of these people had more money in their pocket than they had put into any whatever establishment they needed as shelter. Some people was just down there simply for the resources. That built character too. That shifted my perspective, like, oh, I ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, and I ain't got no money. But you got the money, you just don't know where to go get the place. Okay. Now I'm learning, you know what I'm saying? And I said it like, it took different. I could go on for days on how starting from somewhere and getting somewhere else, and the character that it takes to build, it's the characteristic traits. It took me to humble myself. Hold your head up, but go ahead and tell them people that you need help. Now, after a little bit of work, probably a lot more than I can actually ever explain. After a little tweaking, after a little rewiring, after a little unplugging and then plugging it into the right sockets where all of the circuits are now, okay, we're aware of what's going on now. Listen, I'm telling you, that was a development stage. We were still under construction, and I'm still under construction. I want a new driveway. I want a new, and I'm not talking about Literally. I'm just saying, in my mind, when you think of development, when you think of building, when you think of, I want this to be the highest tower, I want this tower to sit higher than any other tower in the city. It took the dean to pull through. Now it took the dean to shift in my perspective. And if people watching you and they copying you, they don't know your story. They don't know where you came from. They don't know what it took to get there. They don't know who you had to become in order. Because honey, I'm trying to tell y'all who I was before my shortcomings. I was just very like spoiled and fragile, and I had undergone some abuse and manipulation on top of whatever was already embedded in my programming. And then certain things in my shortcomings, that's what was the develop. I don't care to tell it now. I think that's another reason why I don't mind telling my story, and I tell my story with a smile on my face today. Because I remember at one point in time when I was telling my story, I couldn't tell my story without melting, without breaking down into tears, and nobody ever got the story because ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. You know what I mean? But and I mean that in the most sincere way. Like, everybody got something going on. So once you done crying, you feel like telling us, go ahead. We're here. The topic this week, when you think about character development, whether it's a new character that you need this new voltage of like energy to like push you past something, and even if it's just to push you past the thought of what used to be, because we moving into some new, we moving forward, we not looking back. So even if it's a moment of reflection, because introspection and reflection, they go together. They go together. What they say, they go together real bad. They go together real bad. So sometimes you could be working on something real new and real good, and you feel good about it, but then you have a flashback to the time where you was a lazy motherfucker. But you've been real productive for the last 6 months. You know what I'm saying? You cannot let that affect the development. I thought people was copying me. That's how delusional, that's how in a trance I was before I unplugged, replugged, rewired, reconditioned. During the development process, even in my shortcomings, I felt like people was copying me. That's why the development needed to happen, honey. Sometimes you got to tear that whole shit down and reconstruct everything. Now we need a new blueprint. Here come the ding. Because even if you is copying me, and I'm not as delusional as I think, then you got to do the right thing. If I'm influencing you and I'm doing the right thing, then that means I'm a good influence. And we know everybody can't be that. Mm-hmm. Oh. We know that. I mean, you can, but it's going to take some work. It's going to take some development. It's going to take some building. I'm telling you. Think of a real construction site. By the summer,
I want this to be the tallest tower in the city.
It's going to take some time. It's going to take some development. It's going to take real footwork. And I just put a date on it. And I'm just giving an example. Although I'm telling you, I did this. So when people say, well, what? Who is the dean? I'm telling you, if you're doing me and I'm doing me and I'm trying to be the best me, then that makes me a positive influence. And that's the shift in perspective. That's the character development. But now, people will look and make sure that you're exactly who you say you are. People will investigate, honey. They come and they looking. What you see here is something I built right now. Like, look at me. You looking? Is you looking? I built this right here. This is what we doing right now. I'm building this. This is in development stages. And last week I told y'all, fuck with me now. Fuck with me now, because I've seen it. I've seen what I can do. And so that makes it even, that's even more momentum. That's even more motivation. That's even more inspiration. I've seen the things I've overcome. And I was in a less promising situation. I built the foundation. So now we add windows. I want the whole office glass. I want to be able to see off the lake, off the river, off the, I'm gonna throw a little glam here, the glam chandeliers in the, yeah. There ain't no motherfucking chandelier. They coming to investigate. They coming to look. Is this really what you say you are? I'll have you know, I'm a person that I will change my whole outfit because I know I gotta walk to where I'm get to where I'm going. Like as I'm getting to where I'm going, I normally walk. I live in a neighborhood where things are kind of like in walking distance for me. Sometimes I'm on a bus. Sometimes I'm on a train. I love riding a train. I love getting on the rapid. Okay, like I just like it. It's fast. Ain't no stoplights. You stop every now and then, but every stop is not somebody's stop. I like it. I like the vibe, right? But I'm telling you, like, if my goal is to be in a Cadillac, sometimes I can't be coming up and showing up like this. Sometimes I gotta show up like I'm ready. Like these long nails, baby. When I'm in the clinic and I'm working on that. Like I said, I'm being that corporate baddie. I don't have no nails, baby. I'm sport length or nothing else. I'm not putting these on. I'm not rocking this. I'm going all natural. When I gotta shake and I gotta move, make sure when they looking, cause they gonna look, cause they gonna be like, damn, what they building over there? That's exactly how. That's the reaction. Building over there. They working on it. Whatever they doing, they working fast. It's happening fast. At week 6, we coming in hot every Tuesday. Listen. Make sure that your audience understand, or whoever you presenting this character to. Hopefully it's characteristics that you're truly willing and ready to invest in. Because it's okay if you stepping into a characteristic trait that you've never been, but you know that you want to hold that when you get to your destination, when you get to where you're going. I know that the people that know me personally know I'm a hustler first. So then I get cute after we sitting down and sitting around the celebratory energy. But while we working, we doing what we got. This is going to be the tallest building in this city. Whatever it is you're building, the tallest building in this city. Think of it like that. Even if you're still in your developmental stages. When you think about character development, what does that mean to you? I'm telling you what it means to me. I'm telling you how it has changed who I am today. I'm telling you why I think really highly of the dean, because I've seen people learn from my shortcomings. And even in my shortcomings, I made the decision to say, well, if you learn it from me and I'm doing my best, I'm just doing my best, and I'm only working with what I have, then that makes me a good influence. And I just want to touch on this last point. If you are in a developmental stage of any sort, for anything, in any reason, personal, financial, career-wise, whatever, when you're building, think of your obstacles like this, because this is something I feel. I feel like sometimes the obstacles, the stops, the delays, the pauses, the squirrel moments where you're just not as focused. Maybe you could be looking on somebody else's page, watching them watching you, because they going to be watching. Like I said, they going to be watching. Think of it like this, though. Work on that foundation, right? That's no-brainer. But double check the foundation before you move on. And it could be a delay as to why you haven't moved on yet. Because at the end of the day, it could be setting you up for something much bigger than what you actually desire or what you think you want. Remember, the dean said it first. Make sure y'all like, y'all share, y'all subscribe. Y'all remember I told y'all we are on Spotify now. So make sure y'all go tap in. It will be posted every Tuesday. This is week 6, y'all. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what we gonna do. But like I said, if you know me personally, then you already know consistency is not our strongest point, but we're developing that. That's something that I'm working on. I want to build that. This your girl Chick, aka Gypsy's daughter, aka the beautiful underdog. You have been tapped in with the dean again. We are on most platforms: TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and we are now on Spotify. Tap in, like, share, subscribe, follow. I follow back, talk, I talk back, and yeah, we here.